I'm gutted. I've just done somewhere around about a 12-15 minute recording and the phone overheated and died. So I've got to start again. So what I was explaining about what this short video is about what's to come. And the reason what I mean by what's to come is what's to come on my channel. And okay, it's the full story, it's everything, it's uncut. There will be one or two documents that have gone through court that I can't explain in here. You know, one or two things that I'm threatened with imprisonment if I speak out loudly about. A few truths. But the fault with the family law system is they don't allow the truth into court. When I say truth, I mean they don't allow reality, what's actually happened, into court. Give me a second. Yeah, so by that, what the courts do is they only allow a truth. The only truth that is allowed in court is the written words of a social worker, or as they say, a professional. Somebody who is trained in child safeguarding and understanding, you know, these sort of situations. Yeah, I won't get into all that right now. But what that essentially means is that the real truth isn't allowed into court of what's really happened. Only lies, fabrications, things that the mum, that Sarah has said to social workers, and everything she said in there has been backed up, reiterated, if you know what I mean, exaggerated on all sorts of stuff. And there is physical proof, there is, you know, evidence of the lies and the things that the social workers have said. It's disgusting. So in this situation, obviously a social worker hasn't got a chance, because in every single circumstance, in all the cases where social workers were called in, every single time, even when I called them in before we even got into the courts, they go running to Sarah, they speak to her first, and then they come to me, and all they have for me is questions. I'm apparently, in their eyes now, I'm some sort of an absolute monster, you know, controlling, abusive arsehole. So they have absolutely no idea who I am as a person, as a father. They got no idea, absolutely none. And it's absolutely disgusting what we've all been put through by social workers from Children's Services and from CAFCASS. So when I say what's to come in this video, I'm going to be exposing literally everything I can. There are a few things that have gone through court which I'm not allowed to talk about. Not that I'm not interested in talking about it all, because it's BS anyway. I'll show what I can, and I'll carefully talk my way around things so you get the idea without showing you the official paperwork, so to speak. But what you will be seeing in this channel is unedited, straightforward, black and white truth, reality, evidence. And the loophole that the family court system has gave me is that they don't allow me to share anything that's been through the courts. So in other words, all the crap that the social workers have said, I'm not allowed to show you that. But what I am allowed to show you is everything that hasn't been in court, the reality. So if we go back to, what was it, December 2016, I knew then that the relationship was done, you know, was going down the pan. There wasn't really much saving it. I tried, I carried on fighting, but I knew that people just would struggle to believe what I was generally going through behind closed doors. So I started voice recording. There is some video footage from prior to that as well, bits and pieces, from, what was it, June 2016, you know, when there was a physical attack on me that I've got on film, right in front of the children, and I was screaming. You watch that video and then make your own mind up if you know if that's an abusive dad, because she wouldn't attack me like that if I was abusing her. It's that simple, straightforward. Nobody who's been abused, you know, a victim doesn't attack their abuser, does that, do they? You know, either way, that's all on film, the whole situation. But I started voice recording, and I would come home from work, I'd start my voice recording off before I even got out of the car. So I walked down the path with my phone in my hand, walk in, and the atmosphere was tense, and I don't know, 50% of the time it'd kick off. I don't even, you know, there's a lot. And it turned out that by the time the relationship was over and she went into hiding, which was, she went into hiding the start of the June. The relationship ended at the end of April, so 6 weeks roughly. I'd amassed, I think it was something like 1,500 voice recordings. I can't remember the exact numbers now, but it might have been 800. Either way, I've got a mass of them. And then going forwards over the years since, with all the handovers for contact, which is all a dad can really fight for in court. You fight to have weekly, alternate weekend visitation with your children. Just come in and spend 5 minutes of time with them, and but have no real input into their day-to-day life with school and so on. But hang on, I'm going off track a bit on now. I'm very good at doing this because it's massively in depth. Let me pause that for a second while I try and get back to where I was. Yeah, so as I said, I've got tons and tons of voice recordings, including confessions. A confession by her, which was it 4 or 5 days after we split? 3 days after we split. So the relationship's officially over. And, I've got her in a 1 hour, 40, 50 minute conversation we had at a local M&S cafe. Voice recorded the whole thing. And I can play that in this, in one of the episodes that's to come here. Where she admits to beating me. She admits to knowing I could never lay a finger on her. But then she goes into the court system, straight after saying that to me. Tells them that her and our children were in imminent danger. And what chance does a judge or a social worker have when you've got a woman that is running around playing the victim and then telling me to my face that I'm playing the victim? The evidence only backs one of us. The reality only backs one of us. The court backs the other. And I think that rounds up how the family court system works, in just a couple of little short sentences there. So yeah, there's a lot to come. There's a hell of a lot to come. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be respectful and dignified, if that's the right word to use, with how I share what I've got and what's happened. I'm not out for any sort of revenge or anything like that at all. What's happened. My main drive and focus is always going to be the same. It's to back in my daughter's life, and as much as I've walked the thin line and been perfect, been by the book in the relationship, prior to that relationship with the mum, post the relationship, I haven't put a foot wrong. I've never hurt anybody, let anybody down, anything like that. Even despite what she's been put through, I still, don't have a hateful word to say about her. I hate the actions, but she's still my children's mum. And I have to look at it from that viewpoint. I've always had to look at it from that viewpoint. I don't want Lily hating me, thinking that I absolutely hate her mum and that I'm out to get her. Lily probably hates me anyway because of whatever she's been taught over the years that absolutely isn't the reality, because the reality would mean that she'd be now sitting at my side. We'd be in each other's lives. That's what the reality would have led to. What she's been led to believe, I honestly don't know. I can only take from what her mum has told the courts, what's been wrote in her own statements, that they're all in imminent danger from me, that she's been taught that I'm a controlling, abusing arsehole. That's all I can picture that Lily thinks about me. But I know Lily remembers me. The last time we were properly together, she was 12. And of course, she has memories from that period. She'll have memory of the daddy dates that we used to go on each week. If there was a week where I couldn't quite manage it for some reason, she'd get upset. But we'd go out, we'd walk around the park. So, yeah, as I said, there's a lot to come. There's a lot to come. I want to be open. I want to be completely transparent. I've got nothing to hide. And if Lily's back in my life, I've got everything to gain.